Welcome to Autism Alliance of Michigan Skill Building Series. Autism Alliance of Michigan is guided by the vision that people with autism will lead lives that meet their greatest potential. The mission of Autism Alliance of Michigan is to lead efforts to raise expectations and expand opportunities for people touched by autism across the lifespan. Hello, and my name is Stacey Holland. I'm a physical therapy consultant for the Autism Alliance of Michigan, and welcome to our webinar today on bike riding. Please look for the corresponding handout and feel free to print it and use it to follow along with this webinar to take any notes that stand out as relatable to your child's journey. For today's agenda for bike riding, we'll go through the following areas of discussion. This starts with the commonly seen developmental progressions, as well as the types of bikes, challenges seen or faced with bike riding, as well as suggestions to assist with aiding a child. Please note that not all children develop through each of these phases equally. These are all just suggestions of activities to look at and perform. Please always keep your child's safety in mind, and if challenging a new posture position, please use safety awareness to keep your child safe and prevent injury or harm. And with bike riding, that also includes helmet safety, and please consider clothing, making sure it's not too baggy, as well as shoelaces being tied, not to get caught in the pedals. So we're going to begin the child's independent bike skills with the ride-along bikes. These do come in various forms. However, these don't really intend to assist in any way with steering or riding the bike. That's why I have it listed here. They do come in various forms, as I said, as far as like just a seat placed on the bike to the trailer hitch that you see attached to the parent's bike pictured below. These do require good sitting balance as well as neck control. They're really just a ride along just for the child to enjoy being a part of the activity. Next on our bike skills, we do have tricycle or big wheel. With these types of bikes, we do see stability of the bike. So the child's able to work on propelling with the pedals to coordinate one leg extending or pushing down on the pedal while the other one's bending as the pedal lifts. After these bikes I have on here are balanced bikes. You can be transitioned to a two-wheeled balanced bike where the child can then walk or push their feet on the ground. They can work on their trunk control and balance, keeping the bike upright with their feet off the ground and able to place their feet down quickly if needed. They do also come in four-wheeled balanced bikes, really meant for younger toddlers, but you may see a child using that before getting onto a tricycle or big wheel. So I just wanted to make note of that. Next, we'll see the three-wheeled or two-wheeled scooters. These do require a little bit more balance, especially the two-wheel scooters, to keep upright. Next, we'll transition to the standard bike as pictured. You can have with training wheels so that the child doesn't have to worry about keeping that bike balanced as they're trying to keep themselves balanced on the bike itself, doing all the different skills that are required to get a bike to go, as well as transitioning off the training wheels. Now, if a child has any sustained difficulty with balance or weakness with their trunk or has difficulty steering, an adaptive trike or bike may be the route to look into. There are several options for adaptive bikes as they come in all sizes and modifications to meet several needs of the rider themselves. This even includes larger training wheels for older children who may continue to need support. However, they can typically control the frame of a standard bike. So there are several factors that are needed to be able to handle a bike independently. Listed here are all of the different skill sets that are required. The first is being able to mount and dismount the bike. Next is being able to sit on the bike seat with the bike frame itself and the child's legs, maintaining their balance. Going down from there, looking at being able to propel the pedals, whether it be actually starting the propulsion. Sometimes it's hard for the kids to get the right footing to actually push down on the pedals. And with that being said, trying to encourage them to learn to put a pedal forward that they can just start to push down on with their body weight, just to start to get that momentum going. to be able to coordinate that continuation of pedaling to maintain their speed, as well as being able to increase or decrease the cadence of the propulsion to be able to change the speed of the bike. Moving up from there, we have listed scanning the environment. The child needs to be able to look around and be cautious as far as where they're going to monitor the environment to maintain safety. Below that, we have stopping the bike. So as they're monitoring the environment around them, they need to be able to stop to keep themselves safe. They may also need to stop when they're at a certain destination if there's people around. Again, to be able to stop in a specific target safely. Moving up from there is being able to walk next to the bike. If you end up getting off a little bit earlier, being able to walk the bike to where it needs to be parked, or let's just face it, some kids do just end up getting off and dropping their bike and then going. This also goes into potentially parking the bike. A lot of bikes do come with a kickstand, so being able to negotiate that kickstand to rest that bike upright. And then lastly, holding on to the handlebars and being able to steer while maintaining their balance. Some of the challenges seen with bike riding includes poor coordination and balance skills, either with propelling the pedals to maintain an upright position, balancing the bike, or even with being able to steer. Difficulties with motor planning and anticipation of movement, changing their speeds, or even keeping the speed consistent. This also includes anticipating where one needs to stop and slowing down the bike appropriately so they don't over or undershoot. Next is being able to multitask. So being able to steer as well as pedal so their arms or legs are doing different tasks at the same time, as well as them being able to cognitively monitor their area that they're in to maintain safe bike riding. Another area that we see sometimes trouble is just this trunk weakness or having a lower tone. Again, this can make it difficult to balance the bike, also to get initiating the power needed to propel the bike consecutively. And then lastly, difficulties with safety precautions and anticipating the need to change different speeds or distance or steering with the bike to maintain safety within their environment. Here are some activities that can help strengthen and promote bike riding. The first one is the child is showing on the right-hand side of the slide is called a cross crawl. This is essentially a standing march where the opposite hand or elbow makes contact with the lifted knee of the march. This works on balance, obliques, also works on crossing midline, working on problem solving, as well as trunk stability. If it's too hard for the child to perform in standing, it can also be done in sitting as well. Next is balance beam walking or narrow stance walking. This can be done on a curb, on a balance beam. This helps with working on small riding movements to maintain an upright posture with a very small bit of range to be able to correct their body movements. This will help with riding the bike without training wheels. Next is two-handed games. So this could include any games where you're getting the arms to move together. This would work on hand-eye coordination as well as core balance and stability. This could include playing volleyball with a balloon overhead, using both hands to make contact with different type of ball, reaching with both hands to touch targets, or to place stickers on a paper. And then lastly, working on what we call a part practice of riding. So taking those different areas listed in the last slide and breaking it up into different components that you're seeing your child struggle with to just practice and build their confidence in those areas. The next activity that we have for improving bike riding is making small adjustments to the bike. You could set the seat so that the child is able to reach the ground with their feet. So setting the seat at about the inseam of the child's leg measurements from the seat to the floor. Also looking at the handlebars, setting them so the shoulders are relaxed and the elbows are just bent. To lower the handlebar, this would lower the center of gravity, which could provide a little bit better control of the bike. Having the child sit upright over the seat actually will give them better balance as the weight of the child is then at that point directly over the seat, and they don't have to worry about lots of shifting over the middle of the frame. And then also looking for a bike camp in your area that has volunteers that are trained with special adaptable bikes to work on areas that your child may be struggling with. Now, if there are areas that your child's truly struggling with, also considering consulting with a physical therapist or anyone with experience with bike adaptations to see if there are any specific modifications on the current bike that they have, or if there's any adaptations that they know of to help your child enjoy bike riding. The parents can also assist with bike riding by providing cueing for pedaling, balancing the bike, either holding it onto the back of the seat or the middle of the handlebar, which will allow for steering. That concludes our bike riding series. For any additional information, questions, and resources, please contact the Autism Alliance of Michigan. Autism Alliance of Michigan is prepared at no cost to consult, advocate, and connect families to evidence-based care and support, however long it takes. Our navigation program will contact anyone touched by autism to a free lifelong guide with professional help and answers. Thank you so much for attending our webinar.